What if you could eat whatever you want and stay fit too? Isn't it like the dream of every woman? Well, it doesn't have to be just a dream. I used to be the girl that would gain fat just by looking at food. For 10 plus years, I struggled to get into my dream shape. I was obsessed with calories and macros. I tried every diet out there, paleo, vegan, keto, fasting, you name it. But then I discovered something called intuitive eating, and it changed my body and my life completely. And in this video, I share how you can too get into your dream shape with intuitive eating. I'll cover what it is, how to do it, and how to make it work for you. And let me assure you, if I was able to get into my dream shape with intuitive eating, then my girl, you can too. First, you gotta understand what is intuitive eating. When I talk about intuitive eating, I mean letting go of obsession around food. Having the freedom not to think about macros or count calories, but rather eat freely. Listening to the signs of your body, not starving, not stuffing. When full, stop eating. When you're hungry, eat. Food is not the center of my life, it's a tool that keeps me satiated, fueled, and gives me energy to do the things I want to do in this life. Fundamentally, it means freedom around food. Eat the heck I want, whenever I want, not thinking about macros or calories, which is the next thing we need to talk about. My whole fitness journey started with discovering calories. Calories in, calories out matters. Or does it? This theory was the reason why before I used to always be really skeptical about intuitive eating. I used to be strictly on calorie deficit diets, and it definitely didn't make any sense to me. How can someone be fit while eating intuitively if I couldn't lose fat even on calorie deficit? And I see it doesn't make sense to some of you either. I read your comments, and one of the most repeated comments is, calories. Doesn't calories still matter? Well, does it? And what I discovered completely changed how I approach eating. Here's the thing. Calories in, calories out matter to a certain extent, but the quality of your calories matter more. And this is something you have to understand if you want intuitive eating to work for you, because once I understood this, being fit has never been easier for me. Here's what most people don't realize about calories. Calories in, calories out is true in thermodynamics. But when applied to human metabolism, it becomes much more complex. Here is why. First of all, not all calories are created equal. Protein requires more energy to digest than carbs or fats, meaning that 100 calories of chicken is not metabolized the same as 100 calories of cola. But also, different foods trigger different hormones, which also affects how the calories are being metabolized. And this is not all. What you also should understand about calories is that we don't absorb all calories equally. You and me, eating the same food, absorb different amounts of energy depending on our gut health, stress levels, and even such thing as how much sleep we got last night. So instead of focusing on calories, here's a better approach for you. Instead of focusing on the numbers, learn to eat in a way that supports your body. Whole foods, balanced meals, listen to the hunger cues. When you do that, your body regulates itself far better than any calorie counting app ever could. But this is not yet all. To make intuitive eating work for you and stay fit effortlessly, you need to understand this too. Not all food is supposed to be consumed by humans, such as ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods are designed to override your hunger cues. They are designed to make you crave and eat them more. They are metabolized completely different from real foods, which makes the calories in much higher. So the best will be trying to avoid these ultra-processed foods as much as possible and focus on whole nutrient-dense foods because they promote satiety and natural appetite regulation, which makes it much easier to stay in shape without strict counting. So basically just prioritize home-cooked meals. And to make intuitive eating easy for yourself, start with the right basics at home. If you follow these healthy home cooking basics that I'm about to share with you soon, you'll make intuitive eating ridiculously easy for yourself, and you'll become the girl who can just effortlessly stay fit. So to succeed at intuitive eating, have healthy kitchen essentials at home and follow these rules. Instead of rapeseed or canola oil, have olive oil at home and use olive oil or butter or anything else except seed oils for cooking. Anything that has rapeseed or canola oil in the ingredient list, leave it in the store. Find a good bread with minimum ingredients and keep buying that bread only. Avoid artificial sweeteners or glucose syrup and make your own sauces. In general, you can eat anything that grows on this planet, and anything that's made in a lab or factory better skip it. These rules support your metabolic and hormonal health, and therefore, if you follow these rules, you will be fit. This is what I do for the past 4 years, and it hasn't failed me yet. And to make this realistic, follow 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, follow these rules that I just shared with you, and 20% of the time, you can eat unhealthy, guilt-free. If you're just new to intuitive eating might feel routineless or challenging, but once you do it for a while, you'll learn when do you tend to get hungry, which will help you to build routine around it. And after time, you'll also learn how much you tend to eat, which will help you to understand how much food to prepare each time. But you can also build a routine yourself. Intuitive eating doesn't just mean wait till your body gives you a hunger sign. Generally, you gotta eat breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and intuitive eating is just a term that removes the need to plan, calculate, or weigh every gram you're about to eat. Instead, all you need to know is how to construct a good plate, not to gain weight, but also to make sure that you feed your body everything it needs. Generally, a good plate has quality protein source, some fats, carbs, and veggies. Focus on whole nutrient-dense foods, so basically just real food. And as a total beginner, you can use your hand as your guideline. Here is how. Your palm represents how much protein-dense food you need. Fist represents the amount of carbs you need. Cupped hand represents veggies, and thumb represents the amount of high-fat foods such as butter. And the best eating order is to start with protein and carbs last, but this is not set in stone. And of course, I'm not gonna lie, if you have history with tracking macros, of course it's gonna help you to understand that, okay, this piece of chicken has this amount of protein in it, and I need this much because today I happen to eat very little amount of protein. But again, in other hand, it doesn't really matter whether you have history with tracking macros or not, because what we're doing here is we're trying to understand our body's individual needs instead of just stuffing ourselves with 200 grams of protein because your fitness pal said you to do so. Speaking of protein, to become that girl that can just effortlessly stay fit, you need to understand these basics about macros. Proteins and fats are best at keeping you satiated, but you don't need insane amounts of protein. Carbs alone usually make you hungry again quicker, especially carbs without much fiber. Fiber-rich foods help you to feel full quicker and longer, and they also help with constipation. But with this being said, we don't need the same amount of food every day, which is also important to understand. I noticed that the amount of food I eat and the type of food I crave is connected with my monthly cycle. A week before my period, my stomach is bottomless, I crave chocolate, and I don't even try to control myself. I'll eat as much as I need to of homemade food, and I'll have the chocolate for dessert as well. And then the rest of the cycle, I don't even think of chocolate, and I'm satiated with less food. And then there is more. Sometimes I can crave lots of protein-rich foods, and sometimes, rarely though, I can crave a meal with more carbs and veggies and much less protein. Sometimes I'll eat a lunch, and sometimes I don't, depending whether I'm hungry then or not. But what I will never skip is breakfast or a dinner. But this is individual too. And this is the exact reason why I'm such a believer of intuitive eating instead of calorie counting or tracking macros. The reason why I don't believe into calorie counting or tracking macros or some forced diets is because our bodies are different. And with intuitive eating, your body literally gives you the information on what are your needs and what works for you the best. Of course, it's not gonna fix your problems overnight. Even I, after 4 years of intuitive eating, am still discovering new things about my body and how it responds to different things. But at least I have the connection and no one can take it away from me. And I don't need anyone else to tell me what to eat, when to eat, and how much. And because of this, maintaining a good shape has never been easier for me. And you could have this too, although maybe you're thinking, nice for her, but it could never work for me. But let me tell you, before I was just like you. I saw other girls and women getting fit with intuitive eating, but thought it could never work for me. I used to think that I was one of those girls that had to be on a strict diet in order to be in somewhat okay shape. But it wasn't true, and it's not true for you either. Here's the thing. The biggest challenge of intuitive eating is the diet mindset that is drilled in our brains. Diet mindset is when you think that the only way to get results for you is with strict diets because your body just happens to be that way. No, your body isn't that way. Your mind is just a victim of fitness marketing. And there is more. The diet mindset is usually followed by something I call fear mindset. Being afraid of certain foods or food groups. Dairy, wheat, meat, fats, carbs. I used to constantly blame different food groups on my problems. Oh, the white potatoes is the reason why I cannot lose fat, or it's the dairy or carbs. I was literally afraid to stop my strict healthy diet because I was afraid to gain fat. If I'd go on 1 week vacation, I couldn't enjoy it. I choose the healthiest options in the restaurants, try to squeeze in a workout, and at the end of the vacation think, gosh, I look so fat. Again, a victim of fitness marketing. You shouldn't be afraid of any real food. If someone tells you that white potatoes make you fat, then please stop listening to them. You don't get fat after 1 week vacation, even if you eat the most unhealthy there. And if you follow these rules that I shared with you in this video, you won't get fat even after 1 year of vacation. You need to set your mind free from all these fitness marketing traps. But something you should know, if you've been on strict diets, eating under 1200 calories a day, your metabolism usually slows down. You have to find peace with the fact that once you start eating intuitively, you will start eating more. So you might gain some weight, but it is temporary and for better good. Once your metabolism regulates, it will balance out and you will get into your dream shape and stay that way. It all happened with me too. If you want to learn more about real healthy diet, what to eat, fitness marketing traps, and effortless fat loss, in this video I share 9 fitness rules that women and girls need to stop following. So watch it next.